we get a little statement from Dana saying that Clint Trickett will be the starting quarterback. What have you seen? What went into that decision that you guys decided this early it's worth getting it out there?
Well, I mean, if you evaluate last year's tape, which we've watched it countless times, I mean, when he was healthy, he played at a high level. This group going into last year was a very inexperienced group. Counting himself, I mean, he just got here in August, so I mean, with the rules changed like they are this summer, it probably would have been easier for him to start game one last year, you know, when he came in, because we could work with him. But with that being said, if you looked at the games he played in, I mean, and he was healthy, he played at a high level. The two Big 12 teams we beat, he played in. And so that group right now, in our opinion, needs leadership. You know, they look to him anyway. I mean, we feel like it's clear-cut in our mind or we wouldn't do it. And so it's going to give him confidence. You know, when you know you're the guy, there's no questions about it. You got the coaching staff, you know, fully behind you. It changes your demeanor. It changes your attitude. So it's only going to help him in the long run. It's only going to help our unit in the long run. So we felt like it was clear-cut in our mind, so why not go ahead and do it?
What have you been able to work with him or you know, any of the offense on now that you do have this availability in the summer?
Watching film is probably the biggest thing. You know, we get film study 2 times a week. We get to go out there with them, but it's no balls or anything. So, and you can't have a group together. And so you got to segment it, and you got to doing quarterback drills with no balls is tough. You know, you got to manipulate some ways to get things done. But at least we're with them. And you know, just sitting there watching film with them is huge, because in previous years you couldn't do anything with them. And so I think just being around the guys is extremely important. And then there's always things you tweak and whatever, the evolution of every year-to-year deal. And so being able to sit down and talk with those guys through that is going to alleviate some of that stuff in camp.
Do you think he was able to learn anything during spring ball just watching? And I guess he was next to you a lot.
I think so. I mean, you sit in meetings, you watch tape, you're out there. I mean, if you go through that whole process and you don't, it's probably your own fault, right? But there is a process of learning things that's motor memory too, you know, that you got to actually do it. You don't learn things by drawing it up on a whiteboard. And so you actually have to go out there and rep the stuff. So, I mean, I think last year is probably more valuable experience than the spring, obviously, to him, because he's repping things in the game. And so I think he got better. You know, the things he was deficient in when he got here versus our offense versus other teams' offense, as you know, the quick game stuff and stuff like that. I think his ball's getting out accurately. He definitely improved with that throughout the course of the year. I think if you watch the last game, Iowa State, we played offensively at a pretty high level. We lost the game, but I thought he played pretty well. And so, you know, when he's healthy, he played at a high level. When he's not healthy, and much like a lot of other people, you know, walking the earth, he didn't play at a high level. So,
did you think it was important? Go ahead.
So, is this subject to change before the Alabama game?
I doubt it. But I mean, you know, it's not a perfect world. I mean, we gotta go through camp too. And so, but right now, I mean, he's a starter. I mean, he's a starter for the Alabama game. We're going to give him as much reps as it takes to get him ready. And I mean, obviously, you're probably going to change that hat tomorrow, right? So, I hope so.
Is it important for you? Is it important for you to have made this decision so early and allow him to be the guy leading up to the opener?
I think that's the most important thing. It's for the group. You know, it's as much for him as it is for the whole group, in my opinion. You know, I know, you know, playing quarterback and this and that, when you have the whole staff behind you, it's not like we just came out the other day and said, okay, we're going to name him the starter. I mean, it's just something we talked about, we watched, we evaluated, and there's no doubt in our opinion he's the best option. And so when he's the best option, he needs to be the starter. This unit right here was, in my opinion, looking for somebody. They needed to look to somebody to be the leader. It's hard to be the leader when you're not the starter. You know, I mean, you can have all the intangibles in the world, but if you're not the starter, then it's hard to be the leader. And so when you sit there and talk about a competition, then those guys are who am I looking to, you know? And so I think it clears up things with the guys around him, and it clears up a lot of things with him. And so now he can have a clear mind, you know, relax, get better, and not worry about sitting here trying to win the job every day.
Tim, with the offensive assets that you have this year, the package, that you have. How different? I don't want to know what you're going to do, obviously, but how different will you be to the naked eye in offense this year? Will it be a different approach?
I don't think we've been different from year to year for a while. Last year was probably the most we've gotten probably away from some core things that we've done in the past. But I think, for what you'll see this year, there's always going to be wrinkles week to week, no doubt. That's why you sit up here and watch film and you try to prepare the kids and get them in the best position possible to win the game. But the blueprint and the core of the offense, I wouldn't expect much to change.
You expect to go fast again, like you had
Yeah, I would
previously?
expect to go fast again, yeah. And there were, a lot of that has to do with inexperienced people. If you look at going into the season last year, there's a lot of question marks across the board. Both outside receivers, inside receiver was a freshman. We had linemen. We have inexperience all across the board. Well, it's hard to go fast when you're not 100% sure what to do. And I think that probably led more to, not going fast than anything. And there was probably times we could have and we didn't, but I think just having everybody back, and I don't know what percent of guys are back. I think it's about 80 that's played in Big 12 games offensively that are back. And so having just that experience and that rollover is going to help.